So everyone, welcome to our end of year 2025's DDevs changelog event. Happy to be here. We have our DevRel team joining us. You are probably really familiar with Anthony, Colin, and Mark. And I joined a few months ago, so get used to me. I'm going to be here for a while. Let's get started. First, hopefully you're familiar with the Discord checkpoint, but maybe you're not. This is the kind of year in review on stats across Discord, messages sent. We have said a lot in 2025. Overall, everybody has sent over 700 billion messages, memes, helpful messages, whatever it might be, over 700 billion of them. And reaction-wise, there's been 25.7 billion reactions sent. If you dive into the Discord year in review for @everyone, you'll see more information about like the top games or what were the top emotes being used, other fun little stats. But also, you can see your personal checkpoint, which will show you your top emotes, your top server, how many hours you spent in voice chat, things like that. And don't make fun of me because I'm new. Colin obviously is the powerhouse Discord user here. My numbers will be much bigger next year. I only started a few months ago. But you'll get a fun little avatar decoration if you check out your checkpoint. You'll see little fun stats like the messages sent, the time in voice chat, your top emotes. You'll see more fun things like who are your top friends and stuff like that. Your top game. And obviously all of our top server was the Discord developer server. If you cannot see your checkpoint, there's a help article on why can't I see my Discord checkpoint or things like that. Definitely check that out. For the Discord developers checkpoint, we kind of collated some stats ourselves for this. Together, we have sent over 690,000 messages across the DDevs server. Over 44,000 help thread messages sent. This varies from staff helping the community, mods helping the community helping the community. I love this stat. I love when everyone helps each other. I mean, that's kind of what developer relations is here for. We help people make cool things. We've also had 23 developer events, or DDev events specifically, in this server, ranging from things like components or webhooks, social SDK events. And we're going to have a survey towards the end. If you want to see more events or specific events, you want a gateway or whatever it is you want to learn more about, let us know. We want to make events for you, so definitely let us know. And we have merged 279 docs PRs. I feel like that number might be old. I think we're a lot closer to 300. But here's to even more docs PRs merge in the new year.
So we want to do a quick changelog on what happened in 2025, what we released. We're kind of going to go through some of our favorite moments of 2025, things we released, things we documented, things that events that we went to. So let's move ahead. Our DevRel team grew. So Mika mentioned this. We went from having Shay and I as DevRel. If you remember Shay, shout out to Shay, to growing to the team of folks that we have here. We also have Abe, who's also in some of these slides, who's also on the DevRel team. So really exciting. That means more stuff that we can do for you, more events, more docs, all those kinds of things that we're really excited to keep bringing to the community.
This is me. So we did, I don't know if you've noticed us talk about it. It's come up, I don't know, maybe once or twice. We released this thing this year. It's the Discord Social SDK. So if you haven't heard about it, I hope you have. I hope you've been to some of our DDevs events and seen some of our content. We released an SDK for games to bring the power of Discord into their game. This means you can do things like friends lists, invites, lobbies, all kinds of good stuff, basically, so that you can message people who aren't playing your game and be like, hey, you want to come play with me? And the other lovely thing about all of this is actually we're seeing from the stats, we're seeing things like longer play times, seeing DAU, so daily active user increases. Basically, it's a lovely way to get, user acquisition, user retention with your game by enhancing the social experience of your game. So we've definitely got tons of stuff out there, including YouTube videos, and we've done DDevs events, but I'm sure we'll have more coming soon.
Hello, everybody. Anthony. and I'm here to talk about some of the stuff we did. So message components were released. We kind of wanted to give developers a better control over the messages that their apps and bots send. And by doing that, we give you control over the vertical layout and released a ton of new components. Things like the section component, which gives you a little accessory, along with text separator to add actual like spacing and lines between things. New actual content components like text display, thumbnail, media gallery, allowing you to upload things like files or have files in your messages. So just a ton of really cool ways to like give you a little bit more control over what your bot can display. We also, in the client, updated the amount of pinnable messages within a channel. We went from 50 to 250, and in doing that, we had to actually update the endpoints to give you paginated pin endpoints. The old endpoints are currently deprecated. We don't have like an actual end date yet, but make sure you're updating to the new paginated pin endpoints for those. Gradient roles and server tags. So another client change that also gave us some APIs. But we have gradient roles and server tags, which we're also using now in DDevs. And you can get access to gradient roles, the actual like colors of the roles themselves on the role. And then for server tags, you can get those on the user object. This does mean that the color field is deprecated, but it is still backwards compatible. So we removed the use of the actual dot proxy in the URLs for activities, just making it a little bit easier to actually work with the embedded app SDK to create activities. Yeah, we had like a nice CSP update that allowed us to do that. And then this also is backwards compatible. So if you don't have to worry about changing this, you can use it either way, but you don't have to include the dot proxy anymore. And patched URL mappings in the embedded app SDK was updated in version 2.2, which I think is now a few versions behind. So if you get the latest, it's already in there. And then next up, shout out to Advite who's in here. Modal components. We vastly improved modal components. Huge wow. Thanks, Advite. Yeah, I mean, we went from like basically like text display to actually and like text input to giving you all of the selects. So you got string, user, role, mentionable, channel selects are all in there and working. We added a new container component for it. So the label component gives you an actual title and a description that are optional for holding the actual like components themselves. We also give you file upload, which is a huge one. So users can upload, I believe, up to 10 files. You can choose whether it's optional or required. And then the upload size limit being, I think, 10 megabytes by default, but can be higher based on their Nitro status. So a huge win for modals and bots and apps in general. We had a contest earlier in the year. So Game Development World Championship was running earlier in the year. It's a big game development, worldwide game development competition. We had a category for the best activity, and our winner we chose was Hideout. We kind of loved this like cozy casual game that harkened back to the like the Flash gamey, like, you know, Maple Story, Club Penguin years kind of our youth. And it gives you this really cool space to hang out in and allows you to customize your like server and your channels like directly in the activity itself from where you're running it. They're actively working on it and updating it. You know, the team is great and the game is super fun. So definitely go check that out. It's available and you know, open to play. Yeah, go check it out.
Also, we have launched our per guild bot profiles. So similar to a per server user profile, your bot can do this now. You can see here body changed to McBot face as their per guild server profile. That is a little hard to say all in one go. Available for you to use.
Nice. This next one is a personal achievement of my own. When I first joined, you'll note that it says in 2023. So when I first joined Discord, one of the first things I had to do was document the changes for expression and event permissions. And yes, Advice and I finally cleaned this up and we got it out. So create guild expressions and create events are now accessible to bots. And we're going to have another slide later in this that talks about when those are going to be you must have those in order to create events and create guild expressions. So think stickers, emojis, those kinds of things. So doing some cleanup. It's not always new features, but cleaning some stuff up. Along with that, we also have the new bypass slow mode permission. We split this out from manage messages, manage channel, and manage threads. So bots are not affected by slow mode, but you can still, if you have a bot that uses slow mode and things like that, to give it to users and roles and things like that, do be aware of that. As far as the permission split timeline, so we have a bunch of things that changed this year. Pin messages was part of Anthony's news earlier, where we upped the number of pins that are available, but we also made it so that you no longer need managed messages for pinning. Create guild expressions, create events, and bypass slow mode. All of these will be in effect on February 23rd, 2026. So be sure to audit your apps and make sure that those are working as expected.
Okay. I'm not sure how, but apparently I have my favorites of the social SDK releases this year, and I get to have a favorite section. So I'm pretty excited about that. As I said in the previous section, right around GDC, it was around March, we announced the social SDK, but we've had a stack of releases since then. So I thought I'd take some time and work out and tell you what my favorite features are. There are too many to mention, but I thought I'd start with the ones I love. So this one's actually been out for a while, but start with audio callbacks. Basically gives you access to the underlying raw sound information. So if you want to apply custom effects, run it through something like Fmod or WIs, you're able to do so now using the social SDK. Classic example being if you want to do proximity sound, that comes up very regularly. Sending rich presents via RPC. So any any veteran users of the Game SDK will remember that the Game SDK would connect directly to your Discord client, so you didn't have to do a full login experience. It was a fast follow for the Discord Social SDK to have that as its capability too. So if you just want to do rich presents with just an RPC to the client, if the client is running, you can do so without forcing a full login. Custom buttons on activity cards. So if you're doing rich presents and you want to also have like a custom button that goes to like a URL, for example, you're able to do that. You can add, it's up to 2 buttons. I'm seeing nods. I think 2 buttons is right. Yeah. Oh, this is a good one too. So if you aren't familiar and you have a lobby through the social SDK, you can link that lobby to a channel in another Discord server. But previously, if you were doing that and say like I was in a lobby with Colin and Jamaica, Anthony happened to join that lobby but wasn't in the server that was linked, if we wanted Anthony to come join us, we'd have to manually go send him an invite. That's boring and slow, and who wants to do that? So we've added a method on the social SDK so that you can be like, I'm going to send a message being joined linked lobby guild, and it's going to add Anthony to the linked lobby. So making it easier to put all your friends in the same Discord server so they can be there at the same time. The unified friends list. So we can have, with the Discord social SDK, you have your friends, you have your in-game friends, and your Discord friends. But sorting was always an interesting question. How do I sort? Why should I sort? When should I sort? So we made some nice helper functions that actually do all that sorting for you and make life easy. And it even has the nice ability of actually having the friends that played the game that you're currently playing always at the top, so that you can get access to them the quickest as possible. And it groups them all up. It's really good. It's good. You should try it. Rich presents. So we talked about rich presents a bit more, but we added more activity types, including just more than playing. I think there's streaming and a couple other ones that I can't remember off the top of my head. But you can now specify URL fields, so you can make things like status and make those clickable links. If you have assets like images, you don't necessarily now have to upload them all into the dev portal. You can point at URLs as well. Lots and lots of extra things that just make it easier to set up rich presents and more things you can do in rich presents. Whew, so many things. Lobby and DM history. Oh my gosh. So we do the persistence for you now as well. Obviously, if you're doing DMs inside Discord, you can see the history, but now you can also get it through the social SDK. I think it's 72 hours or up to 200 messages. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that. And then also with lobbies, exactly the same thing too. So if somebody joins a lobby after a lobby's been running for a while, they can see the history as well and see what's been happening previously. So that's always nice. I have lots of favorite features. It's true. Whew. Native authentication on mobile. Shout out to Anthony for doing a video on this to show the actual difference. So when we first launched, the mobile experience was it's so great when you logged in and pop you over to a browser and you'd have to like type your password all over again. No one wants to do that. It was slow. Now it goes straight to your Discord client on your mobile. So if you're already logged in, boom, you're ready to go. So it's great for mobile apps. I think this is the last one. The application deauthorized webhook event. So you may not be aware, but if you go into your Discord admin settings in your Discord client, you can control which apps have access to your information and which ones are connected to you and such. So this means that if you've connected to a game through, say, a game client, you could then go over to the Discord client and be like, actually, I don't want them connected to me anymore, and you can disconnect it. This webhook lets those people know, hey, this person is disconnected from your game, not necessarily through the game client, but maybe through the Discord client itself. And so you can do any cleanup or any other fun things along that way. Those are all my favorite features in no particular order other than I just like to talk about them, and that's how they fell on the page. All right, let's talk a little bit about dev events that have also happened this year. As we saw, like the DevRel team has grown and we've done a lot of stuff this year. We've managed to be in a lot of different places. So let's give you a little heads up on where we've been. If anyone's been at any of these events, please raise your hand. Please put something in chat. I want to see if you were there. Maybe even if you swung past and said hi, that'd be great. So we were talking about GDC at the beginning of this talk. That was where we announced the Discord Social SDK. If you were there, you definitely would have seen our booth because it was amazing. It had a great sort of 1980s VHS store vibe going on. I think you get DVDs and stuff. We had swag, we had booth talks. There's Colin in that picture there giving booth talks. We were at networking events. We were also just floating around talking to a bunch of people as well as doing a bunch of presentations. It was amazing to see everyone, and we look forward to seeing you all next year. Oh, this is all me. Fantastic. DevCom, Gamescom, if anyone was there. I see some people in chat were there. Awesome. If anyone is familiar with DevCom, Gamescom's one of the really big, I think it's like 200, 300,000 people consumer conferences, but they also have a whole industry track or industry conference beforehand called DevCom, an industry track while at Gamescom. I had the pleasure of getting to hang out with a bunch of game developers and talk to them directly, but also I did a presentation with Ashley from Facepunch to talk about Rust and their integration with the social SDK. You can check the videos out for that on our YouTube as well. You can see those there. Also, if you see in the bottom right-hand corner, I was doing a wonderful networking event for speakers and VIPs at DevCom, which was the grappling seminar. They also did like walking tours and other things like that. But I thought, deadly yoga would be way more fun. But yes, also an amazing event just to hang out with other people in the industry. Jamika, take it away.
It is me. It is I. So one of the first events I went to was Slice, which is Seattle Loves Indie Creators Expo Slice, which, as you might have guessed, it was in Seattle. Anthony joined me on this one. Anthony actually gave 2 talks. One was within a panel about like building your community, not just using Discord, but he represented the Discord side of it. And another talk was about building games on Unity. I was soloing the booth when Anthony was doing all these fun talks. We just talked a lot about the social SDK and building your community using Discord, lots of things like that. It was really fun. And I was at another event, Tokyo Game Show. This one Mark and I went to, joined a few folks there. Tokyo was amazing, obviously. It was my first time at TGS, Tokyo Game Show. It was huge. It was so big. We walked the main floor, talked to devs there, had private meetings, talked to devs there. And then I discovered there's a whole nother section of indie games. I talked to so many devs there. And then when I left the section, there was another indie game section. I'm like, I gotta sit down. I have to do this tomorrow. It was so many people. And also, Mark and I, as we were getting ready to leave, ran into Donna Burke, which is the voice of the Japanese Shinkansen, the Japanese bullet train, if you're not familiar with it. She does all of the announcements when you're arriving at a station or whatever it is in English. She's an icon. It was amazing just randomly running into her. We had a great time at TGS. And I think we have, my latest event. This one, I actually gave a talk. Anthony and I went to this one. He gave a talk similar to Slice about using the Discord social SDK in your Unity game. And I gave the talk that was more general about how can Discord's tools help you grow your game. So it's more than just the social SDK. It's also, the API, talked a tiny bit about quests, just what does Discord have that'll help you build your game. And I believe these talks you'll see them soon if you'd like to view them. They're not on our YouTube just yet, but they'll be there.
Awesome. Yeah. So a lot of the things that we talked about today and some of the events and videos, they're all in our changelog. So if there's anything that we talked about and you use certain permissions and you're wondering about them, go check out the changelog in the docs, all the great message and modal components, all the things that we talked about. For all the event stuff, we'll be posting some of those videos in DDevs, and you can also check them out in our YouTube channel. So we do have a new Discord developers YouTube channel. We'll get a link and drop it in the chat. But if you're wondering, what are we doing next year? Let's look ahead a little bit. What are these Discord devs doing? Let's turn our eye to next year. And I'm going to turn it over to Anthony to talk about DDevs.
As you know, active dev badge is gone. But what we're trying to focus on right now is more things happening in the Discord developer server, things to highlight what y'all are building here, and sort of creating a space to be like actively building. So we've currently got a Buildathon going already, but we're already starting to plan next year's Buildathon. There are game jams happening. I think we're actually going to create a space to do game jams within our server. So some of those major game jams that you know about, Global Game Jam and Ludum Dare and stuff, we might like create a space so that we can all jam on something together. So a lot of just like active building in the server. We also are going to be bringing in some gradient roles for helpful devs and frequent contributors. So I know there's a lot of y'all that are, frequently in here talking to people, helping them out. People that are opening PRs for the docs. Those are the sorts of things that we really love and want to highlight in here. We also have a special gradient role for the Buildathon for our highlights and past winners that we're going to keep around forever. Look forward to that. And then more events and live streams. So, kind of at the start of last year, we didn't have a lot happening in here. But over the course of the year, we picked up and done a ton of events, and we're going to continue that. So there's 5 of us now. We're going to be doing a ton more events, live streams. We're going to be experimenting with different things in the server, but we'll be around, and we'll be in here a lot more too. So yeah, like I said, Buildathon's happening. We're like halfway through right now. It's going to end on January 9th. We wanted to give you a little extra time just to it's over the holidays. We want to make sure people have time to build. We already got, I think it's like 7 or 8 submissions and something like 70 projects, which is insane. So again, we've got those 5 categories, and our choices, and the top ones get a really cool gradient role and something a little special that we'll talk about during the final event for it, which is going to be 2 weeks after the after it closes on the 9th. So, and then also coming up for the holidays. So we're going to turn on slow mode in a bunch of the channels, lock a bunch of threads, just make it so things slow down a little bit in here. Buildathon is still going to be going strong. I'll be popping in on Mondays for the check-ins, but there's going to be a little bit less coverage, and ModMail is going to, will be open, but it'll be a little slow. I believe same with our developer, support tickets and stuff. So just something to be mindful about. We do take a holiday break, and we hope you all do too, and have a nice couple weeks. But we'll also be around building, so we'll see you at the end of that break.
Also coming in 2026 is the Community Invite API. This will allow you to, you could see on the slides, but allows you to assign roles to any members when they join. So you can create a specific invite that says people that are joining the server via this invite will get this specific role. And you can also have an allow list saying only these users should be able to access this invite. Otherwise, whoever, I'm not able to click that invite, get that role. If I'm not on that allow list, it will just show an invalid link. So this is coming in 2026 January. So look forward to it.
It is done. The community invite API is done. We just decided that it wasn't a great time to launch it right when we were all going on break. So we do a code freeze on our end just to make sure that we don't like break Discord and then everyone goes off on holiday and has to deal with on point and stuff like that. So my favorite topic, both of 2025 and will be in 2026, is our NextGen Docs. And so for NextGen Docs, this has been a project that we've been focused on for improving our docs, giving us better tooling and so that we can ship docs faster, better. When new features come out, we want to make sure that we're putting out the right docs. And thanks to a lot of you, we have PRs that we know are still open. We had to revert some of the NextGen Docs stuff, and we're fixing some things, and we're going to re-roll that back out. But in the new year, we're also working on finishing the Open API spec. So the Open API spec is something that we've had for a while, but if you go read it, there are no descriptions of endpoints or fields, parameters. So getting all of that in there will allow us to kind of get to our final form, which is generating reference documentation. So a lot of our PRs today have to do with our reference docs. It's, hey, this doesn't actually return what the docs say it does, or we forgot something. And that's because our reference docs are handwritten today, and we really there's really no reason why we should be handwriting reference docs. We would much rather be writing docs that help you build great apps, games, things like that. And so that's our goal for that. Social SDK has generated reference docs today, and that's been great to have, but we want that for bots and activities as well. And then finally, Discord API docs, the GitHub repo, that's not going anywhere. It will still be public. So even with the reference docs, if you see something that's wrong, you'll be able to help us make sure that that's still up to date. And it might mean that we need to go make a change in our code, but we can then make sure that that is represented properly. Just another reminder for the provision split, pin messages, create guild expressions, create events, and bypass slow mode. Today, their parent permissions still allowing you to do these things. So things like manage messages, manage expressions, things like that. You will need to have these permissions on February 23rd in order to continue to do these things. So audit your bots, audit the usage of your apps, of these things, and make sure that your app is up to date.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I've been seeing this in chat. Everyone's been asking about Dave, so I need to talk about Dave. Apparently, that's a thing everyone's very excited about. So Dave is our encryption library for voice. So just as a reminder for those people who run bots that use voice, or people who have libraries that have voice integrations, we at Discord will only be supporting end-to-end calls starting on March 1st. So unencrypted calls will no longer work for all audio and video conversations. I see in chat this says, oh, hi, Mark. There has to be at least one oh, hi, Mark joke, and this at some point has to happen. I have on here, you should definitely go check out that GitHub link on the LibDave issue number 8 to specifically make sure I have what I have said right. The C API, I have on here, the C APIs should be out by now. Go check out the issue and make sure where they are. I think they're definitely, as per the comments, on their progress has been a little slower than anticipated on this. I know people are asking for it. However, the changes for editing the C API and better shared library support are in final review. They should be expected to merge before the holiday break, assuming nothing terrible happens. And we're looking at getting binaries out in the new year. So that stuff is coming. And yes, I know you're all very excited about Dave. Okay, next slide. I wanted to talk about DDevs and YouTube a little. Anthony touched on this, which is awesome. Obviously, we've been doing all these events in DDevs, and you've seen many of them come across to YouTube as well. And we have lots and lots of theories and fun plans and experiments that we want to do here in DDevs. And also, if any of these resonate with you or you have other ideas, please drop that in the feedback, which will come up in a second. But we want to bring on more Discord guests. We want to start bringing in more like game developer guests from like your favorite studios to talk about how they've integrated with Discord and what's going on there. Thank you for going back so I can remember what I'm talking about, Colin. I appreciate you. We're looking at doing some regular short news content. That sounds good to you. I know we usually do a quarterly wrap up, which is great. Love doing it. End of year wrap up is great. But if once a month we're like, hey, here's the top 10 things you need to know about, We'd love to give that to you in a little video, as well as a whole bunch more best practice videos, very similar to what we've done with the community best practices and building your first Discord server. So if you haven't, make sure you go over to youtube.com/@DiscordDevelopers. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'd love you to do that. That helps us out a bunch. And yeah, tell us what you want to see in feedback. We'd love to hear about it.
Please do leave us feedback about this event or just about things you want to see, event-wise or product-wise or whatever it is. Just leave feedback. Say whatever you want to say. We will not get our feelings hurt. Say what you want to say. And that is the end. That is the end of our year in review. This is about to be the end of our last Discord developers event of 2025. Thank you all for joining us for this event, for other events, and we will see you guys in 2026. Well, we'll see you in chat. Don't worry about that. But we'll see you in this format in 2026.